Okay, we're going to do a little fractions lesson together today. Before we can start, you need to get a pencil. If you don't have a pencil, get a pen, get anything that works. But if you have a pencil, use a pencil. And you need a piece of paper. If you do not have lined paper, it's not the end of the world. Just get a piece of blank paper. Anything will do. You can see that I don't have lined paper in front of me either. So we're all good. We're not going to worry about the little stuff. Okay, after you've got your paper and your pencil, at the top of the page, I would like you to write this word with me. So this is just like if we're in class and I have something up on the projector, only this time if I go too fast, you can pause the video. Perfect, right? So fractions, there is your title. And we're going to talk just a little bit today about what a fraction is and what a fraction isn't. So let's draw a line down the center. And on this side, we are going to draw what a fraction is. So we are going to draw a rectangle. So you're going to draw that along with me. You don't have to make these too big. I have a very small piece of paper to write on here, but if you have a bigger piece of paper, you'll be able to fit probably 2 or 3 of my pages onto your page. So don't write too big. You can make them a little bit smaller. Okay, we're going to cut that exactly down the middle, or as close as we can with our eye. And we're going to divide that into 2 parts. Okay, so here we have a fraction, and beside that fraction, we are going to write the fraction as a number. And because there are 2 equal parts, we're going to put a 2 on the bottom, and that 2 is called the denominator. We're going to color in one of those fractions, or one of those sections. And since we colored in 1, we're going to put a 1 on top, and that's called the numerator. So the numerator goes on the top, and the denominator goes on the bottom. And when we read that, we can read 1/2 is how we say it. We don't say 1, 2, we say 1/2. So 1/2 of that shape is colored in. Now, this side is our correct side. This side over here is going to be our incorrect side. So on this side, I want you to draw another rectangle. And this time we're going to divide it into 2 parts, but not 2 equal parts. So I'm going to put the line right there. And I do have 2 parts, but they are not equal. One is bigger than the other. So for this one, if I colored in a section, that would not mean 1/2. Because we cannot write that as a fraction. We're not comparing equal parts. Okay, we're going to go underneath. We're going to try another example. Let's do a circle this time. And we are going to divide this one into 4 equal parts. So a line down the center, a line across the middle. We have 4 equal parts. If we cut out each of those parts and laid them on top of each other, they would be the same. So if I have 4 equal parts, that's my denominator that goes on the bottom. I'm going to color in 3 of these sections. And boys and girls, you should be coloring this in with me. You should be writing what I'm writing. You should be coloring in or shading in, just like we do in the classroom when I have this on the projector. All right. 3 of those squares are colored in. So I am saying that 3/4 or 3/4, we could say that one 2 different ways. 3/4, say it out loud. 3/4, say that out loud. And that's what that fraction means. So that's a perfect fraction right there. Okay, we're going to see how to do this fraction incorrectly. On the other side, we're going to draw a circle again. Just do the best you can. You can see my circle is wobbly. It's not the end of the world. And we're going to divide this one into 4 parts as well. We're going to put a line down the middle. This time I'm going to divide it a little bit differently. So yes, this is true. I do have 4 parts. If I color in 1, 2, 3 of the parts, I could write 3/4 as 3/4 or 3/4, but that is incorrect because those parts are not equal. So you can only write a fraction when each of the parts is equal. They have to all be the same size. Okay? All right. Now for this one, just put down your pencil for a minute and you get to guess right away if this is a correct fraction or if this is incorrect. Okay, so put down your pencil. You're just watching now and you're thinking and you're ready to say correct or incorrect. So here I go. There's my square. I've divided it. And I'm going to write 1/2. Okay, so take your guess. Is that correct or incorrect? And it is correct. Now, I know I haven't divided that absolutely perfectly, but you can tell that I tried to divide it right in the middle. Okay, let's try another one. Here's my shape. And I have got 4 sections and 3 of them are colored in. So take your guess, correct or incorrect? And that is correct. Okay, here's another one. All right, I've got 3 sections and one of them is colored in. Is that correct or incorrect? And that is incorrect because not all the sections are the same. They are not divided equally. So for something to be a fraction, it has to be divided equally. Okay, that's really, really important to remember. Okay, all right. Okay, pick your pencils up. And somewhere underneath where you have room on your paper, you can follow along with me. All right, we're going to do one with a little bit of a bigger number. So we're going to draw a long, kind of skinny rectangle. We're going to divide it right in the middle. Do the best you can. Mine's not perfect. Yours doesn't have to be perfect either, but we'll try our best. Then divide one of those sections in half and then divide the other section in half. So now you should have 4 equal sections. Now we're going to divide each of those sections in half. And remember, you can pause the video so you can catch up with me. So what I would like you to do right now is I would like you to write the denominator. That's the number on the bottom here. And I want you to tell me how many equal sections there are and write that number in there. Okay, if you said 8, that is correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now I would like you to color in any 5. They do not have to be the first 5. They do not have to be the last 5. Color in any 5. Okay, go ahead and do that. All right, I'm going to color in any 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And my numerator on the top said 5. So what does that mean? So that means out of 8 possible sections, 5 of them are colored in. Now I have a little challenge for you. We're going to write another fraction that describes this picture. So there are actually 2 fractions that describe this picture. This one right here describes the colored section. Can you think of something else that could be described? All right, well, we're going to write another fraction here. Now the number on the bottom is the same. There are still 8 equal sections. So if we wrote this fraction and said 5/8 represents the colored section, how about if we write a fraction that describes the blank or the white section? Okay, so count how many of those are not colored and write it up here where the numerator goes. And yes, you should have had 3. Okay, so what we call these images when we look at something and we don't just see the colored part is we call this the positive part. This is an art term actually. So when you see the part that is colored or drawn or filled in, we call that the positive image. And when we see the part that is not filled in and we actually look at it, that is called the negative image. Sometimes we use that in art as well. Okay, so we've got the positive image and the negative image. Now, the cool thing is, when you add these together, this is a different kind of adding. Now, this is a little challenge here, so don't worry about it if you don't get this part, because this comes later. In fact, you probably won't be doing this till grade 5 or later on in intermediate. When we add fractions together, we say we've got 5/8 and we've got 3/8. We are still counting eighths, so we don't add up those bottom numbers. But we do add the parts on the top. So 5 plus 3 is 8. And when you add up the colored section and the non-colored section, you should always get the complete or whole picture. And we say whole like this because we mean the whole thing. Okay, so colored plus non-colored should equal every single part. So that number should be the same on the top and the same on the bottom. Again, if that doesn't make any sense to you, that's sort of an extending concept. So if you want to think about that, go ahead. If that confuses you, you can just leave it. Okay, all right, next one. Here we go. We are going to draw something that has 10 sections this time. Now, I'm going to try my best to make these equal, but here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yikes. 9 and 10. Okay, so just go back and make sure you have got 10 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we are going to pretend that those are all equal. All right, and I would like you to color in any 2 of them. And we just talked about this on the other page, but there are 2 possible fractions that you could write for this picture. So we're going to write one of the fractions right here, and we're going to write the other fraction right there. So get that set up. Okay, remember the first step when you are writing a fraction is to count all the sections, whether they are colored or not. And that is your denominator. It goes at the bottom. So count all your sections. We have 10 altogether. So 10 is going to be the denominator for both of these fractions. They both have 10 possible sections. Number 2 is you pick what you're going to count. Are you going to count the colored section? That's fine. Go ahead and do that. And that answer can go in this one. Or are you going to count the blank section? That answer is going to go up there. Okay, pause the video until you have it figured out and then play it again. All right, counting the colored section, we have 2/10 colored in. So 2 sections out of 10 possible sections are colored in. The non-colored section, the blank section, we have 8 out of 10 possible sections, we have 8 sections that are not colored. And again, if you add up 2 plus 8, you will get 10 altogether. Okay, and the last little part of this video is I'm going to show you the mistake that a lot of people make when they are writing fractions. So here we go. We're going to make a big mistake together. Put a big X. You should be writing this down on your sheet. We're going to make the mistake that lots of people make. All right, we're going to draw a really easy sample one. Okay, we haven't made a mistake so far. We've got 4 equal sections as best as we can. And you're going to color in one of them. All right, here's our fraction. So this is what lots of people do. They see I have 1 section colored in, so they put a 1 up here. Is that correct so far? Absolutely. But here's what they do now. Now I have 1 here. I've already counted that one. So now I'm going to count this one, and this one. 1, 2, 3. And they put a 3 on the bottom. That is incorrect. Okay, this 3 on the bottom is the total number of sections. If we count the total number of sections, we have got 1, 2, 3, 4. That number should be a 4 on the bottom. If we count the number of sections colored in, 1. And that's the number that should go on the top. This tells you that you have 1 out of 4 possible sections that is colored. If I was to draw 1/3, it would look like this. 1 out of 3 possible sections. So this is the biggest mistake that grade 4s usually make, so I want you to be really careful about that. The bottom number is all the possible sections, whether they are colored or not. The top number is telling you how many of them are colored or how many are not colored. All right, and that is our work for today.